28, 30 years of founder growing that company and then finally kind of handing it over to the employees. Hey, this is your company now, run with it. Let's try and understand.
So we got this 30-year-old business founded by this very clever guy, and he runs it for 30 years, but never really wanted to be leading a large organization. So he kept it kind of nice and tidy, if you like. So it's a small, mature 30-year-old business. And then he gets to his early 70s and he's thinking, because none of us live forever, we're going to be thinking about what's next. So he's thinking about his legacy and where does the company go. And he being quite principled, a very socially conscious chap, he then looked at employee ownership as a good option to basically bequeath his legacy to, if you like, and then ensure that it was in the hands of people who cared for the business, who understood it, and also to care for the employees within the business. We are very lucky with our two external trustees. One of them is a legal eagle. He's actually the guy who legally set up our trust. One from a very one of the leading EOT legal firms in the UK. And the other trustee, and that's been really helpful for me actually, is the CEO of a company. He's the founder and CEO of a company who sold the entirety of his business to the employees, but remained the CEO. So now he works for his employees, which is a really nice dynamic. And he's one of our trustees, and he's been gold for me in giving me some direction and mentoring and guidance on things that we need to tell the trustees. So that's been a really nice aspect of the story. So that's the governance, the oversight. We have our own board, and this is a level above the board that looks after the company for the employees.
Wow, that's amazing. That's very different to what we normally hear about the company structures and so on. Now, obviously, a simple employee would be thinking, okay, now that I am the owner of this company, without necessarily having the shares in my name, which well, that's just a legal paper, so I don't really care about that. Uh, so I have been an employee just before June 24, and now June 24, it becomes my company. I'm kind of the owner. What changes for me?
That they need to get under the hood of what is our business, not just the bit that they work in, not just the role that they play, but the overall entity. Who are our customers? What problems are we solving for our customers? How are we doing that? How are they using our solutions? Where are the additional opportunities to help our customers? How are we billing them? What's the profit look like in that? What are the costs within our business? All of the elements, we start to try and open up and I guess make a little bit more transparent for our team, so they start to understand the nuts and bolts and the cogs and how things work step by step, and not in the nitty-gritty detail, just in the general kind of how things work from a how things work perspective.
Yeah, it's good for them to now that have visibility and a view of what's happening with the company overall, rather than only about my work and my project. So I think it's kind of opens up their view of the world. At the same time, while we're saying that the employees or the company will have to pay their debts first, and then there will be that day when all the debts are paid, and I think you called it Freedom Day.
That's what the employee. So there's an association for employee ownership companies called the Employee Ownership Association, UK based. They support all companies in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and they term it Freedom Day, and it seems to be widely adopted. I recently attended the EOA conference, which was a gathering of lots of employee ownership companies from across the United Kingdom. And that was a commonly used term. And I can understand the reason why, because it is a bit of a straitjacket initially. There's a lot of tight budget management, cash flow management to make that happen. And so
Yeah.
once that debt is off your shoulders, you can see why they call it Freedom Day. It gives you a lot more room for maneuver. So for us, it's a 3-year payment plan. We're just about to see to year 2, and that would then leave us with just 1 more to go. So it's actually been quite a short journey for us. 3 years total, and when we're finished, some companies will have much longer. It depends on the size and the value, right?
Yeah.
So we're a small business. We have 25 people. A couple of $1 million revenue per year. So that's kind of an easier, although it's all relative, but it's not been a long journey for us.
Wow. So in 3 years' time, you will get to your Freedom Day, and then from there on, this debt is gone. Does that mean again that at that point in time, any profit that comes in actually belongs to the employees and will be distributed to the employees? Is that
So we have a growth path, right? We have ambitious plans for our business. We want to more than double our revenue in the next number of years.
wow?
That will come with additional staff members, maybe not doubling the team members, depending if we can do kind of
Yeah.
flexible hybrid roles. But there's a significant reinvestment to power that growth, of course. And so that's where our board and our EOT trustees come in.
Mentioned that you would probably like to invest in order to grow. So where do you see you would have to invest in order to grow the organization?
We have many content use cases in our install base, and many global leading customers that are using our software. They're highly regulated, and they're using it to support change in complex documentation. We're in workflows, we're in content management systems. On the data side, we have some use cases in our install base, but the opportunity for growth is enormous. Changes in network configuration, all of those recent global outages like Cloudflare and so on, really basic errors and kind of changes in DNS entries. And that's
Yeah.
where we play, and that's where we can play. But it's just one of the places we could be plugged in to help with where change matters and having that detailed precision tracking and auditability trail of that change. So that's the major space that we're going to invest in. Our software already does the job.
Oh, that's amazing. I think it was great to know this different kind of company structure. It was great to know how the company is growing. It's doing some niche work. Of course, it is patented, and well, it's great to know that the CEO is speaking about the growth plans. There's absolute clarity. There is a path laid down, so there is no stopping from you and your company growing from this point. So, with that, let me thank you for your time, for this wonderful insights and amazing conversation.
Thank you, Sachin. I really appreciate it.